tell us a story about that guitar? How you got it?
This, most of you know I play the 335. And my original 335, if you've seen those pictures, is more red around here, right? And this particular 335, a fan like yourself, about, what was it, 2.5 years ago now, Rick? Sent a letter to my management's office trying to get a hold of Larry. And it took about 6 months for all of this to take place. And I finally received this letter, handwritten letter, and it said, "Dear Larry, you're my favorite guitar player. And I have this 1968 335 guitar that's been in the closet for 17 years. Hasn't been played in 17 years. And I would like to give it to you as a gift, as a backup guitar, if you like it. And if you don't like it, please don't accept it." And he sent it to Nashville, and Rick picked it up. And Rick and I live about 15 minutes apart, so we always meet at the fire station, about halfway. And so Rick and we meet at the fire station. He's got this guitar in his trunk. He opens it, we open the case, and I don't even take it out of the case, and I just go. I always pick my guitars acoustically, never with the amplifier. And it was killer. So I accepted this as a gift from a very nice fan who wanted me to have it. And then I will confess that I ended up putting PAF pickups in it from a 1963 something guitar. I would never do that to my original 335. It's going to stay the same forever. But anyway, it was a real gift and blessing to me, and that's how I got this particular 335. Yes, sir?
I've got your video from the 80s. And
Yes.
I even have this transcription book by Liam White.
Yes.
And both mention the triadic thinking
Yes.
and superimposing different triads and different chords.
Correct.
But somehow none of them mentions actually choosing specific triads because they give you particular intervals like measured fifths or measured fifths or measured ninths. But are you aware of those intervals or the altered chord degrees that specific triads give you on different chords?
Yeah, I understand. He's referring back to my first teaching DVD back in the 70s, I think it was, might have been 80s. Anyway, and one of the things that has made me sound different than other guitar players throughout my career was I didn't think modes or scales. I think chords. And the example that we use, and I will get specifically to your question, is if you're playing this chord, G13 flat 9. I was walking to junior high school one day thinking about this chord. If you take off the G, you take off the F, you have an E triad. But you're playing over a G13 flat 9 chord. So all of a sudden my little brain at 14 years old said, gosh, then I can play G and E for that chord. Very basic. So you could play. But 2 steps farther, this chord functions like a diminished chord, which means every minor third is the same chord. Different inversion. So, if we have an E triad on top of the G position, what do we have on top of the next one, which is a minor third up? G triad. Still the same chord. What do we have for the next minor third? B flat. Is it? B flat triad. So now I have 3 triads to think about over G13 flat 9. G triad, E triad, B flat triad. For that one sound. And I started thinking in that concept. So I started breaking up notes in my solos. If I'm in G position and it's that chord, I know I can pick notes from the E triad. So I go, that's E to me, but we're on G. So that's the basic concept of it, is thinking about a chord, a polychord, a chord with a chord sitting on top of it. And we don't have an easel, but if you, at the piano, if you will play these intervals, minor third, major third, minor third, major third, and continue that, you get every triad that you want to superimpose. Let's say we have D minor. That's our sound. I'm going to do minor third, major third, minor third, major third. Okay, next is major third. If we take brackets and go every other note, you have D, F, A. You have a D minor triad and F triad. If you keep going, now you have an A minor triad, but we also have an F in it, so it's F major 7th. These are all, and you keep going. Now we have A minor or C major 7th, or C 6th, or C triad sitting on top of D minor. So I can think of all those little chords right there to pick notes from for my solo. And it continues and gets more farther from the root the farther you take it. That's the full extension. Ends up with a B natural and C sharp. Yeah.
Do you take them randomly or just upon each other?
Which part?
About the last part.
The chord part, or when I spelled it?
When you spelled it.
No, it's a sequence that's consistent, just like a major scale is consistent. Whole step, half step, whole step, all that. Well, this is a mode, if you will. Leon called it a super arpeggio in the book. I had never used that term, by the way. But no, it just makes sense, and if you sit down at the piano and do it so you hear them all ring, it all sounds right. But you can see that's a whole different triad up here than it was down here. And for some reason that registered with me at a young age. So I just kept developing that way of looking at the guitar. The most simple example is if you have a G major 7th chord. I think of D major for that chord. I'm not thinking of G at all there. I'm thinking of D major over a G bass. But I can alternate back and forth between the G sound and the D sound. And that's where I get kind of my sound. As soon as I hit that, I'm thinking D major. And if we take that little arpeggio we were talking about, I know that the next one in line is an A major. Still over G. So my actual thought process could be for G major 7th in chords A, D, and G. That was A to D, A to D, A to D in my brain. You could accomplish the same notes thinking of it a different way, but that's just how I see it. Hope that helps a little. It's pretty deep. It's hard to explain, is what I'm saying.